Hey everybody, it's Mark, Dr. Deadwax, and it's time for the Inbox Challenge 2, Day 28. Today's numbers were brought to us by, I don't know how to say this, juodaavis is my Canadian way, and juodaavis is my international way. So, they picked 5 numbers. I'm going to do all 5. Good day of music too. Oh, pretty good. First up, just a standard record, Tom Petty, Full Moon Fever. I had another copy of this, and well, I have another copy of this, but this is a Canadian pressing. I don't know if I can get this to show. This nothing seems to show up anymore, but at the very top at 12 o'clock there is the MCA Gloversville stamp. And you can see next to it CR written in the dead wax. It's upside down, okay? But you can see CR in the dead wax as well. So that means that this plate was cut at the Gloversville, New York plant by MCA and then identified for Sinram in Canada and shipped here for them to print. Now I have 2 other copies of this record, and they are both printed at Sinram, but they have the Sinram CR in a circle with a stamp, and that means the plates were cut at Sinram. And comparing the 3 of them, actually, this sounds way better. This has so much more detail and bottom end. It's phenomenal. It's a classic example of what a different pressing can do. So, I mean, I don't listen to this very often anymore. This was party staple back in 89, 90, 91, 92. I saw this tour too. Fantastic show. Fantastic. Tom Petty's one of the great live musicians. He's got a real I don't know what he's like now, but back then he had this real ability to connect with the crowd, and you know, he could tell stories and play just great songs, and it's kind of like he was like a little like Springsteen in that way. Back when Springsteen did like the 3-hour shows, and he just had pushed all this energy out in the crowd and got it all back from him. Anyway, good record. You know, like I said, I don't play it that much, but it's a classic, and there's a lot of really good stuff on it. This was a good period for him. The next one I think was Great Wide Open, and that's a great record too. I'd like to get that on vinyl. Next is, look what surfaced. Mothers of Invention. Weasels Ripped My Flesh. This is the first Canadian pressing, still in shrink. A little tear to the shrink. This is Beninsky 707's Avatar, or was for the longest time. First Canadian pressing on Reprise. Picked this up for 10 bucks or 15, no more than that. And I don't know, what the hell's wrong with Zappa? Or what the hell's wrong with me and Zappa? This is okay. Like, it's okay. It's not phenomenal. There are some great moments on this record. There are some great grooves, some great guitar solos, and then there is too much irony, too much self-indulgent, artsy, noodling. Too often are good songs just cut abruptly for some sort of theatrical music. I don't know. Just, if the record was all music, it'd be great. And it's pretty free too. It's pretty jazzy. It's pretty experimental musically, and that's all great. It's the other stuff that is just. I'm sorry, Zappa should have just done comedy records, because I mean, he just ruins the flow of these things. Sure, it's a great piece. It's a great conceptual, you know, like a really avant-garde painting, or, you know, sure, that those are great, but you don't necessarily want to sit and look at them all the time. You certainly don't want to live with them. And you know, I can't see myself playing that again because it's just so whatever. Also, this in Canada, this was released on the standard reprise, whereas in the States, I believe, it was on this. I mean, we still have the bizarre reprise logo on the cover, but I believe in the States that was released on that blue bizarre label. So. Some good violin on here. I wonder if that's Jean-Luc Ponty. Nope, it's Donald Sugarcane Harris. Lowell George is on here too from Little Feat. So before he got kicked out of the band for doing drugs. Bad Lowell. Another reprise release. Neil Young and Crazy Horse. Everybody knows this is nowhere. Again, this is, I just picked this up to pick it up. I have it. I picked this up in the States. I love when I go to the States and I buy Canadian pressings. This is Canadian pressing on tan, reprise, whatever. This is a great record. Cinnamon Girl, everybody knows this is nowhere. I love that song. Round and Round, Down by the River. The Indigo Girls cover of Down by the River on their live record. If you ever want to hear an amazing cover of Down by the River, check out the Indigo Girls version. It's rocking. The Losing End, Running Dry, and Cowgirl in the Sand. And then another classic, Cowgirl in the Sand. This is a great, great record. I buy any of the good Neil Young records. I buy all of them that I see because they're not overly common to find clean. I paid $5 for that, and it's perfectly clean. So, sounds great too. Next is Sun Ra, Blue Delight. I picked this up. I mean, you know, working on the free jazz, the expanding the mental horizons, the whole thing, pushing boundaries, listening to noisy, squonky crap, trying to learn to like it, and this is a straight-ahead jazz record. Free jazz, jazz. Like, so this is my first Sun Ra, and it's just straight ahead. This has some great players on it. I know Donald Byrd is on here. Different members of the orchestra, James Jackson, Elo Ome, John Gilmore, Marshall Allen, Noel Scott, Danny Ray Thompson, Fred Adams, Tommy Turrentine, Ahmed Abdullah, Al Evans, Tyrone Hill, Julian Priester, Bruce Edwards, Carl LeBlanc, Billy Higgins, Buster Smith, John Orr, Edson Nascimento, and this is really good. I mean, wasn't, like I said, this is not at all what I thought I would be listening to at all. I mean, he might as well be in a suit. This is so straight ahead jazz. There's like very few moments where it even gets pushing. Never mind there. A&M. This is a U.S. pressing on A&M. So I like that label. There's a Manhattan label from that period that's got this similar box of figures running across it. And interestingly enough, because it's like almost every day this year, this is Quiet. And this record is long. I was listening to this and I'm like, what the hell is this thing going to end? 65 minutes of music on this record. And the vinyl is Quiet. And 30 plus minutes on each side. It actually sounds good. It's because it's, you know, it's jazz. It doesn't have that massive bottom end that, say, a rock album would. But, you know, this is a good record. I did not expect to say that. And finally, Tortoise Standards. This is Tortoise covering all jazz. No, it's not. This is Tortoise 2001. This is on Thrill Jockey. This has the printed plastic cover. It's a shame, you know. There's like In a Bag of Rhythm by UB40, and there's all kinds of different bands. I think Talking Heads did a record in one of these sleeves, but they just never they never hold up. It's such a shame because they're so cool, but there's something about this heavy plastic that they use. It just doesn't work. And this is it's got a custom inner sleeve, and the record has custom labels. And this has, in the Deadwax, it has SAE mastering, and 15 minutes to the sun is written on one side. So that's kind of cool, that little message, whatever that means. This is a first pressing, so I bought this for $8. I thought, wow, I scored, you know, 2001 vinyl first pressing. Came home and looked it up, like, they sell for like $12 on eBay. What is it with Tortoise records? Why do they sell for so little? I see people holding up reissues of Tortoise records and they're all gleeful they got them for $20. And I'm like, when I looked that up, I was like, so. Phenomenal record. I love this. This is the kind of music, I really like this. This is, you know, it's a little bit experimental. It's not cliche rock. It sounds fantastic. It has this beautiful, the bass player from this band is just fantastic. He's got a great touch, a great style, a great, I noticed it on the other Tortoise record I have. So I have to find more Tortoise records. It's got that post-rock kind of groove, just fantastic record. I will be visiting this a lot more until I burn this into my brain, because I really like it, and I like post-rock a lot, and I don't have a lot of it because, you know, maybe somewhere like Chicago or LA or New York, maybe you find a lot of modern vinyl in the used bins if you go into a store every day and there's the new to the store. But around here, and even in the States where I go, finding anything post 90 is, you know, I basically buy every piece of it that I see. And what do I show? Like 6 or 8 pieces of post 1990 vinyl a year. So it's awesome to find this. This is just a great record. I mean, it doesn't. It's not. Talk, Spirit of Eden, okay? It's not that, but it has that quality to it that makes me want to listen to it again and again. I mean, I don't come across too many records that make me feel that way. Sun Ra, you know, this is a good jazz record. It's straight ahead, it's predictable, it's not what I expected. Where are we? Just where we are, yeah. Neil Young, everybody knows this is Nowhere. You know, it's just a classic. Period. Masterpiece. One of his best records, probably, I'd say. Weasels Rip My Flesh. This is free jazz mixed with performance art or something. It's okay. The music is great. The jokes, the little outtakes, the sequiturs or non sequiturs, whatever the heck they are, they're terrible. And you know, Full Moon Fever, that's classic. And it's really cool to find like a Canadian pressing with different Dead Wax that sounds good. So I was listening to it and it sounded good, and I was kind of shocked and nuts when I looked at the Dead Wax after I listened to it, and I was like, so then I dug out my others and I was like, wow. Anyway, juodaavis. Thanks for watching, subscribing, picking the numbers and playing along, and everybody else, same for you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody. Keep the record spinning.